I'm glad to see everyone here in Ukrainian House. We will be talking about Ukrainian House Davos, and as far as I understand, we will start with small videos to understand. Что? Меня не это интересовало, название самого.
Ukrainian innovators in wide-ranging disciplines are setting global trends that are shaping the world.
Every existing challenge is a future opportunity. We are prepared to seize these opportunities to shape a better world.
We will be happy to welcome you at Ukrainian House in Davos.
І зараз ми покажемо ще.
Now we will show you one more video piece which will show you how everything started, the source.
I can't
Дякую за відео.
Thank you for the videos. Maybe you felt the atmosphere, but Ukraine House was not only parties, there were 5 days of our extensive work, and as an initiator of Ukraine House and the head of Venture Capital Association, I am very glad that we presented Ukraine, represented it as innovative Ukraine, Ukraine of opportunities, UVCA is an association uniting 47 members, investors, and participants of Ukrainian investment marketplace who every day invest in Ukrainian companies. We demonstrated the new Ukraine. Everything started 2 years ago. I am in Davos since 2008. I was a participant in Young World Leaders program, and I saw how Ukraine was represented in 2015. Ukraine was not so interesting for Ukraine. This is just pragmatic stand, and it stopped to be a component of World Economic Forum of its economic portion. So I found the opportunity to demonstrate Ukraine as in a new format as Ukrainian House Davos. And you know that the association and the members of our association supported this initiative. Last year we made 2 events, Ukrainian Davos Nights, focused only on investors and leaders of technological business and mass media and top level officials. We managed to do that. More than 400 persons visited our events, and we understood that we should represent Ukraine in a full-fledged format. This is Ukrainian House Davos Forum. Investors invest in Ukrainian companies in our association in all industries, but mostly into technologies. This is not only IT technologies, because all industries are technological now. So then our panel discussions were connected with technological sector. This is energy industry, business, crypto currency. So in terms of investment of what Ukraine is doing, it is doing joint venture projects. You can see all 10 events broadcasts recorded in the internet. Most interesting were connected to venture investment and cryptocurrencies. Davos turned into a technological forum. Many people observed that is why Ukraine was interesting, because all the whole world is interested in joint investment in joint technological projects, and that is what we have managed to demonstrate. So I am very glad and I am very thankful to our team and our organizational committee, and not only our association but our partners as well who were members of the organizational committee. I am also thankful to you, mass media persons, journalists, who managed to divide policy and negative sense from the new Ukraine. We invited our president also to our panels, and you have managed to divide new investment opportunities from the negative sense in Ukraine, and the influence will be prolonged into future. We demonstrated new creative, innovative Ukraine in terms of investment opportunities, and this was of large influence. It is only starting on what we will be doing together. I am very glad and happy that we have managed to do this. I would like to give the floor to Director CEO of Ukrainian House, Davos, Olga Chopivsky. Thank you. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. My name is Olga Chopivsky. I am a CEO of Ukrainian House Davos. The goal of Ukraine House was in highlighting the best about Ukraine at this international arena. Our goal was to teach our investors, international companies, top managers about huge investment opportunities in Ukraine today with the accent on technologies and innovations, and we are proud, I think, we have maximized the opportunities to shape perception of Ukraine. First, we should form the perception, then you can attract investors. I would like to accent that we have made this together as a team by our team play. That's why I would like to thank the whole team. Ms. Jaroslava Johnson, Western NIS Enterprise Fund, Svitlana Grytsenko, Victor Pinchuk Foundation, Andrey Kolodyuk, Chairman UVCA. Lenna Koszarny, Horizon Capital Founding Partner. Olga Afanasyeva.
Вона, на жаль, тут нема сьогодні.
Here now. I would like to thank our organizers, Andrey, Olga, and Natalia, our partners with NIS Enterprise Fund and Victor Pinchuk Foundation, our gold sponsor Ciklum, and our silver sponsor IT Ukraine Association, our panel sponsor Horizon Capital, Agro Hub, Unit City, Blockchain Hub, Hacking, Social Boost, Bakhtan Gavrilyshin Foundation, and ST Capital. Thank you to Ukrainian West and Council for your cooperation. Thank you to CFC Consulting, to our catering, our musicians, BNB Project, and DJ Sonia Polfi, and our artist Anna Zvagentseva, our volunteers from Ukrainian Academy of Leadership and Zavtra UA, and also, of course, to our media partners such as Kiev Post, Mine.ua, Interfax, Business.ua, Liga.net. Thank you for your attention and support. Ms. Jaroslava, the floor is yours. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak here. I am always asked why your fund, Western NIS Enterprise Fund, became this sponsor of this event. Ukraine was previously invisible. I took part in the breakfast and lunch organized by Victor Pinchuk Foundation. Nobody saw Ukraine except this breakfast and lunch. So our house was at the main street. Everyone passed our house, and everyone saw that the discussions were very intensive, and there were very many people inside, and this also promoted people, Ukraine among people. And Svitlana, please. Thank you. Good afternoon to everyone. We are very glad to share what we felt and where we were, and we hope that most of you will be capable to visit Ukraine House Davos next year, except Ukraine breakfast in Davos. We also joined Ukraine House Davos project. We are very glad that Ukraine House demonstrated Ukraine in its versatility. We demonstrated our technological opportunities, and we also demonstrated our creative musical groups, bands, and we managed to create the atmosphere which was interesting for potential investors. They felt comfortable. We are Ukraine House, and it was like in a real Ukrainian house. The atmosphere was very hospitable. Our house looked very nice, very attractive, and very modern at the same time. We hope this trend would continue. We will always be have the opportunity to represent Ukraine at WEF in future, and we hope you will cover these events. Thank you very much. I'm a chairperson of Horizon Capital, and I'm a member of UVCA. I'm very proud to be a member of the board of UVCA, and for me this was for all of us a very beautiful moment to hear the voice of new generation. This is what we were trying to do. I have often been talking that Ukraine is brains, hands, and grains. But we also wanted that week to demonstrate the brains, and we did that as far as I see. As for me, I was very proud that we had so many guests. If we count all the panels, there were chairs for 25 people, and more than 200 people were standing at the event. So over 5,000 people, visitors, were at our house. So the program was very extensive of the World Economic Fund, but in Ukraine House you can see either a singer or a billionaire or a prime minister or a president of some country. Davos is the place like this where you can communicate with such figures. One Prime Minister told to me, I didn't know what to expect when I came into Ukraine House, but I understood that you are a European country and you demonstrated Ukraine as a modern, progressive, best. We demonstrated the best side of our country. I had the honor to represent President Poroshenko to so much acrobatry at the investor event. We provided an award of Ukraine House to Klitschko brothers, to UBRD, because they are the largest investor into Ukraine, and Bogdan Gavrilishin also was awarded, and we are very proud. We made a very long list and we voted, and I think that the winners of the prize are very glad to get this prize in the first bid. I am Olga Afanasyeva, UVCA Executive Director, and as an Executive Director, I am very glad that most of sponsors of our Ukraine House were members of UVCA. This proves that our community understands the importance not only of investment, not only of building businesses in Ukraine with foreign companies, but also understands the importance of contributing funds, resources, and own efforts in building a strong brand of Ukraine and demonstrating new Ukraine in the context of new Ukraine. I would like to tell you the opinion of Marina Vyshegorodskikh, representative IT Ukraine and Ciklum, to our sponsors. It is very important that very many IT companies represent new Ukraine. We demonstrate that we have large innovative potential and large number of products are on offer which we can offer to the world, and they have engineering and technological values. I would like to accent on our IT sector, which were represented in Davos. It is not only the unity, it is also of IT companies. They are very versatile companies, and we are ready to demonstrate, to offer them to the world. The last message I would like to voice out. Most of our organizational committee are women. Our organizational committee, out of 7 persons, 6 are beautiful women. And as an ambassador of women of venture business in Ukraine among European countries, I am very glad that this is so, and I'm thankful to Mr. Andrey for supporting our women's community all the time. Yes, being in this organizational committee, I think that we have managed to do everything thanks to this composition of our committee. Everyone can join us. We are an open platform for any partners this year. Besides sponsors, we also had philanthropists, people who understand that Ukrainian brand is very important, and everyone would win if we promote Ukraine as a business country. If we address our business problems and find solutions to them, all other problems will be resolved. I think we have one more video. This is a creative video developed for Ukraine House.
Чужим діткам дулі-дулі.
I would like to add several words. So, why we believe it is important to provide not only information about investment, but also to show the diversity. We are speaking about art, that we represented by pictures of Anna Zviagintseva, and we are grateful to Pinchuk Art Center. Anna Zviagintseva in 2015 got special award from Pinchuk Art Center, and her works are really the works of modern art that show Ukraine and its vector of development in the modern world. They correspond to the concept of Ukraine, house concept, creativity, innovation, and opportunity. And we presented these works in order to show the many areas of development of our country. Also, UNB project and the DJ Grytsenko, they were presenting Ukrainian music, and they really well represented our country during this event. So now we can start Q&A session. So please, do you have questions? So I would like to ask first question. So during such events, there are many informal conversations, and maybe some interesting prospects were shown during this event, because this is the aim of the event, to provide investment. So there were preliminary talks, there were two proposals to us, to our foundation, Ventures Capital, to co-invest in the companies that are in America, but with Ukrainian programmers, and this happened during this event. This is the first. And the second, now I have about 500 visiting cards, and now what is happening? So the main aim is to invite these people to invest together with us, to co-invest, because we invested to some companies, we invest, and we also ask others to do it with us. So there are more than 10 things like this. And another thing, and this is not a joke, Vladimir Klitschko, he made venture investments, and he said that he will do it with the UVCA members, and these are practical things. We didn't prepare it, and we got information that Klitschko invests with Hollywood stars, and I said that this is really popular when stars invest, Aston Kutcher and many other people who invest, and I asked Vladimir, what do you think about it? And he said that I am doing this, and why are you not with us? And he said, show me proposals. So this was a public offering, and he supported it. So I would like to give the floor to my colleague Olga, and she is going to tell us about other agreements that happened there. But speaking on the whole, people for the first time got information that we have so active center of investment, and I said that we have 47 members, but you know that in Vienna, Copenhagen, and in many countries of European countries, you know that in Ukraine we have the biggest number of investors. Second, people only then got information due to Citibank that Ukraine is in top 5 countries of the world concerning blockchain and cryptocurrency, and all the investors that were there. We now organize special tour for investors in this area, blockchain and cryptocurrency, that will go to Ukraine. And people who came there, they knew what it is. So we see a lot of chances for co-investment, and we prepare a tour for them to Ukraine. Now I give the floor to my colleague Olga Afanasyeva. Thank you, Andrey. Answering your question, two main theses. The first one, during the work of Ukrainian House in Davos, On the screens, we've shown the videos of our startups, innovation companies, and also there were brochures, catalogs of some companies that were finalists of the UVCA Challenge contest. This is the contest for startups that had the opportunity to present their products free of charge at the big conference in Las Vegas, Consumer Electronics Show. So this is the show of consumer electronics that we organized together with the support of Western Enterprise Foundation, so we cooperate a lot with them. And these startups, they evoked great interest, and investors came to Ukraine House, and during the panel we've discussed when the next unicorn will be, and there are several concrete proposals from investors. And starting next week, we will have a meeting between the investors and the companies. So this is a process for several months, and I believe that we will have a good result, and we will hear about it soon. And second, also, me personally and Andrey, we've met with a number of venture foundations that are ready to join association. And what is interesting, these are the companies from the United States and Europe and from Ukraine that are now not our members, but we believe that soon we will broaden. And third, we have preliminary negotiations with the representatives of foundations and associations, Venture Association and Venture Association in London, and we also spoke with Berkeley University to hold joint meetings that will bring together innovators and investors. So what is really interesting, we investors from the United States and Europe, and also there were a lot of interest from India, Asia, Middle East. So many people came to us, and there were many people from India. They had 4 houses, and there was Prime Minister of India, and they had a big banner, and they went up 40 positions in doing business rating. And people from India, when they heard that Ukraine in 5 years went 76 positions up, and we are higher than they, so they were really surprised. And we said that Global Innovation Index, that we are on the place 50. We are higher than Brazil, India, Argentina, and where they invest, and they know their countries really well, and they were surprised. And even they said at once that they want to go to Ukraine. They said they wanted to look at this country, and we want to change their mind about Ukraine. So I also want to say that Ukraine House Davos is a platform we've created, and Ukraine has shown it in a good way, and we should provide such platforms. And we came back with heaps of visiting cards, and we should look them through, and we should continue these contacts. We should not forget about them. We have a wonderful moment now, and Ukraine can continue these contacts, and this is obligatory. Thank you. And one more thing, all the effort, all that we done in Ukraine House Davos was made with donor money. No state money was used. We wanted to show that these events should be carried out by private sector, and we believe that next year we will have more private sponsors that will help us to improve Ukrainian House in Davos and to show us in a even better way. Business news outlet about blockchain and cryptocurrency. What were the concrete examples of the interest of investors in this area? You know, about the areas people came that were interested in agrotech, energy, and of course, sector of information technologies. You know that Sophia robot, the company that made it, SingularityNet project, we agreed with them there, and on Thursday we did it, and on Monday they were in Kiev. That you know that everything that is connected with artificial intelligence, Ukraine has a really great school in this. We have 50 years of experience in this. We are so this is a practical thing. All the world now is writing about, and they are here now, and that what I wanted to. This is what I wanted to say about it. I would like to ask about plans for next year. This year, this was blockchain and cryptocurrency, and what will be the priority areas next year, and whom are you going to invite, whom we're going to see in Davos next year in the Ukrainian House. First, I would like to explain this. So cryptocurrency and blockchain, these were really successful panels, but there were agro-business panel, technological hubs, and many other areas. How to position Ukraine as a place where people from all around the world can come to, and to build global companies from Ukraine. So this was the main focus. Second, any business now is technological. Any area is technological. So when they say about areas, I would like to ask what business is not technological. So banks became fintech institutions. So, and my colleagues maybe will agree with me. The first, Davos is now turned into a technological forum, because now that is what of interest to the world, and technologies, they really influence the world, and Ukraine pragmatically is a technological partner. We do not speak about it a lot, but this is modern economic policy of the world, and we in Ukraine here, we should develop it, and Ukraine can become in this area, it can be among top 5 partners of the world. You know, we should say that in order to organize such a house, this is really a difficult thing. So the location we found, location in Davos, we were really in the center. This was a wonderful place, wonderful location. And first, so during the first year, we set ourselves so high. So next year we should do even better. So first of all, this is location, then the team. We have been working for. We've started. So we have been working for six months. We've met 3 times a week, and for the last 3 months we've met 3 times a week. And we gathered a team, and we wanted to have a more normal pace. We should, in order to have this normal pace, we should start now. Andrey Megel, Concord consulting firm. And except Davos, there are many platforms in the world. So next Davos will be even more successful for you. And do you plan to do it without state financing, only with private financing? You said about India and Arab Emirates. Do you plan to go to other parts of the world, if you have a team, if you have instrument that can help you to win the world? So before my colleagues answer, I would like to say that this is the second event, and Olga, during the educational conference for the second year, we provided a Ukrainian pavilion, and we are going to continue it. And concerning other things, Jaroslava, please. You know, so we can use experience, but Davos is the place where the world leaders meet, and we wanted to draw their attention. And we would think about other projects, but Davos is the place where the most important leaders meet, presidents, state leaders, business leaders, and in this small town we had a really high level.
Good afternoon. Elizaveta Gulishvili, BitUA. I have a question about the Sophia robot. What do you think of her, about artificial intelligence, whether she is an artificial intelligence or just a bot? First, I asked her if her sister or brother is born in Ukraine, and in terms of Singularity Net, this is an open platform enabling anyone to build artificial intelligence robots in any place of the world. So they are now arriving to Ukraine, so we can build Ukrainian robots as well. As in Davos, we had a program of 1.5 hour long. The robot answered our questions, so whether she is real or virtual, you feel as if she has mimics. You should see her. When you see her, you will have the answer to your question. By the way, we have made agreement that the artificial intelligence like Sophia will be here in April. She liked us, Ukraine House. She liked Ukraine House, and we agreed that Sophia robot will visit Ukraine in April this year. Next question. Good afternoon, Maria Sarikina in Venture. I have a question to Mr. Andrey. As we know, one of the goals UVCA is to make Ukraine blockchain offshore, and the question is how the world community perceives this and what practical steps Ukrainian businessmen, venture investors should do. Ukraine community to implement this. First, to this topic, we had a separate panel where the crypto heaven is. It was one of the discussions, because in December 2017 the sixth committee was established at our association. It is related to blockchain, because in Davos we saw this is a question which is of interest for the entire world. So you know the best practices in Belarus and Ukraine, Switzerland and Canada were discussed as three countries we have that have almost joined on this panel, making a partnership developing this topic in the world, on the world wide platform. So I invite you to Leonardo at 1:00 p.m. We will be talking about practical science on this issue. I would like to tell you that the world is not standing on the one place. Any country in the world has been implementing such conditions, introducing such conditions, so that these projects are implemented in their country. So Ukraine should implement projects in its country, in its territory, because this is of influence on our foreign partners. We are the only country in the world which have built 100% IT sector without state funding. There are no such countries in Europe or in the world. Blockchain is built on decentralization principle. Our members, Blockchain Hub, Blockchain Foundation, may become a decentralized platform from the state. The main thing which we expect is no interference. Where we need support, we will tell. Where we need promotion for Ukraine, for Ukrainian brand, we will do this in partnership. The thesis is, let us in decentralized manner to cope with this task by our own efforts, as we have been doing so far. Oleg Chabala, Ukrainian Prism. You have told about positive things, but what challenges you faced during preparation to the event and during and while holding it? Who has selected the location for Ukraine House, and whether there was a goal to oppose Ukraine House and Russia House? As to the difficulties, we did not understand at the beginning of the process how difficult this event would be. We had two Ukraine welcome parties last year. Olga and Andrey organized them. It was rather simple, but when we started working on the content during the 4 days, how many people, how many panelists we need, and we even didn't realize how much time we should spend. 3-4 days a week we worked. We maybe needed larger team. Many people were interested in project, and especially in the recent 3 months. The budget funding was rather limited. We gathered our funds in private sector by crowdfunding. I think we have managed to achieve the best result. Yes, complexity was in place in terms of organization. I think we worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but not 3-4 days, as Jaroslawa said. And I see that nothing has changed, although the event has completed. It was not my first Davos. Because we were establishing Ukrainian breakfasts in Davos, and snowstorms this year were in Switzerland, and we needed metal chains. In particular, I went to technical stations to get these metal chains installed. Then we needed to see how Ukraine House was how it started its activity. It was our experience. We understood that the weather conditions were complicated this year. As concerns our neighbors, across the street. I think that we bothered them, but they do not bother us because we had very many visitors and we didn't feel lack of visitors. We had the problem with not enough premises, so we had problems with the size of the house and its rooms, but not with the number of visitors. We would like to thank six volunteers from Ukraine from two fantastic programs, Ukrainian Leadership Academy and Zavtra.ua. They created this positive atmosphere, demonstrated young generation of Ukraine we are proud of. As concerns the location, it was the most complicated challenge in the program of young world leaders. Many of them took part in Euromaidan and supported Ukraine. And I think Ukrainian House should pay attention to them and demonstrate them in Ukrainian House next year. When we saw this location for the first time, we liked it, but for 4 months we were heard that this location will never be let to us, never be leased to us. But I am very thankful to Jaroslawa and other our supporting figures. So during 4 months of negotiations, we have managed to get this location. We knew that Russia was a little bit to the left, but we could not imagine that they will be our neighbors opposite the street. Many people saw that and it was a positive controversy because everyone wanted to see our house. Our house was very hospitable and of interest to everyone. New York Times wrote about it, that we are opposite to Russia House, and Global Toronto also issued such an article. So this really was described, covered. Last year it was difficult when we are preparing. Sometimes we were stressed, sometimes we were positively in positive mood. But it was easier because last year when we were doing this, there were only 3 of us, me, Natalia and Marina, and we have never been to Davos before that, and we only saw the photos of the premises, and we were reading about the World Economic Forum. Andrey helped us with telling how it should be done, but we didn't know how people will get to know about our events, whether these events will be interested for people. So we spent many efforts and nerves, and we have managed to be interesting. And this time we saw our premises because we started selecting it last year indeed, but the scope of work was colossal. Interfax Ukraine, Yuri Boltrik, you are talking about the next year's Davos. Will we have it? Yes, we will. Are you a sponsor? Yes, we can talk objectively when the organizational committee will be established. It has been organized already. It has been established. It has not stopped its work. We had already the meeting yesterday, so we are open for partners and sponsors. If you have interesting offers, what should be added by us and what should we do, you are welcome. And we have been collecting funds by crowdfunding, so we call on Ukrainian businesses to support us. All of us are volunteers of our time, and we need support if we want to improve the level of Ukraine's presentation next year. We need money, we need funding, and we need more space, but the demand for us is huge. It will be huge next year. As concerns this question, Ukraine House in Davos is not on the official agenda. Do you plan to work on this, to negotiate this question? This is the most complicated question, which needs efforts of all responsible persons in our country. This is linked to the work of members of official World Economic Forum. And I'm not afraid of this word. The leaders of our state should also address this issue, because we organize our house as an official, informal one, but influential. All of us should work together so it has become formal. Andrey, we were on their calendar, on their schedule. If you have not downloaded, you can download Davos X, and you will see that all events which World Economic Forum approved, they were available in this schedule, in this application. So our parties, they were not just private welcome parties. You should have been accepted by the World Economic Forum first, then you are allowed, you are admitted. And you can see also in this application all other events, but only officially approved by WEF events. They were available in this application. You can download it, and you will need it next year. You use it next year. Group task. I would like to thank Ukraine House Davos for doing Ukrainian House. Whether I understand it correctly, that Ukraine again tried to promote its image only thanks to volunteers, not without any governmental support, without any governmental funding. This state, will they be supporting you officially or financially next year? Talking about the country, we investors, we are also a component of this country first. Second, private sector has built itself without governmental money. This is a fact which we should be proud of, because it is not so in other countries. We have built ourselves by our own efforts without state money. When this corresponds to our joint goal, we cooperate with the state. Representative of the state also fulfilled their functions. They had speeches at the WEF stage and made speeches, and it was our decision to work ourselves without governmental support, and we cooperated with the investment council. There was no situation when the state rejected to help us. Thank you, dear guests, for your interest in narrative story, and we hope that next year we will override even this year's achievements. Thank you. That's all for today.